Hello, Merry Meet. So this is going to be a video response to Cara's video, Belief in a Bookstore. And in it she tells a story about meeting a Christian woman trying to convert her while she's looking at the witchcraft books in a store. And she also asks, what would we do if we ended up in the same situation, if we were to talk with a Christian person like that. And first of all, I have been talking with a Christian person about these topics for some while. If you look at some of my videos, that are video responses to a YouTube user named Shazulu. Now Shazulu, he is, I think is a Baptist. If you've seen this Shazulu and I'm getting your Christian direction wrong, please forgive me. Anyway, I think he's a Baptist and he's against the paranormal and occult, but he is very polite about it. He doesn't go around and berate people or anything like that, but he do make videos about the dangers of the occult. And basically, I would say, like I say to him and others that first of all, it's very difficult to debate with a person who is of such that are so much of an absolutist. I think that I just need some lip balm. I think that the problem is that paganism and traditional Christianity have a problem with communication, because Christianity, while it's a great religion, is very absolutist. It says this is the truth. We, and only us, and often only our group of Christians, have the truth, the ultimate truth, and everybody else, they go to hell. While most pagan paths are like, okay, we have one belief that fits for us, but nobody knows the absolute truth. And when somebody who is very absolutist and somebody who is definitely not try to discuss, it very often doesn't lead to a very productive result. So, first of all, I wouldn't mind if somebody tried to hand me a pamphlet while in a bookstore. I mean, I don't see a problem with it. They want to spread word about their religion, okay, fine. And doing it like that, I mean, I see no difference from that than somebody handing me a pamphlet about a dance club or the newest vacuum cleaner. It's a way to spread advertisement, and that advertisement is for a religion doesn't bother me. I do have a problem when people start to get aggressive, tries to take away pagan rights, or call us evil and so on, but I have only experienced that a few times online and been lucky enough never to experience that in real life, so I don't really have much to come with there. And in fact, I have a lot of Christian friends who are extremely tolerant of my pagan path. In fact, the man I'm going to marry next spring, he's a Christian. He's agnostic, but still a Christian. So yeah, what would I say? First of all, one thing that I usually start with is saying, how do you know that what you're saying is true? Because generally what I say is, but we have the truth. After all, it's in the Bible, it's the truth. And I'm saying, how do you know that this is the truth, that it's the only truth? Because really, about every one of the various religious texts says, this is the truth. And like I said, if I were going to write a religious text and publish it, and especially if doing so gave me some sort of power over people that the Bible do with its leaders, I would also say this is the only truth, and unless you follow this, then bad things will happen to you, because that's a way to control people. How do you know this? And like I said, there's a lot of great things in the Bible. It is mystery book. There's a lot of wisdom in it, and it's a lot of good advice for living. And I have no doubt that a lot of the Bible is inspired by a divine source, but that doesn't mean that absolutely every word in the Bible is true. And I think that's the problem. And one thing that has sometimes worked in talking with these people is when I say, okay, you said the Bible is true? Absolute, irrefutable truth? Okay, which one? And say, but there's only one Bible. And I say, oh yeah, really? Please put English, Latin, Greek, and so on Bible next to one another and read and pick a random passage and read it and just see how different each individual passage is. Because translation changes a lot. In addition, various forms of denotations has differences in their Bible. So that, for example, the Protestants, the Catholics, the Orthodox, and so on and so forth, use different Bibles. In addition, I say, let's assume that the various Bible texts were written by people inspired by God. The problem, I say, is that there were so many of them. There were a huge number of these texts, and they were put together by man. Religious leaders got together in councils. This happened at several points, and they wrote and they decided which one of these books was to be a part of the Bible. So I said, how do you know that they got it right? That I'm not questioning your God here, I'm questioning these people, these human beings. How do you know that they got it right? That they chose the exactly right texts to include? Because if you look at the Gnostic texts, if you look at the Dead Sea Scrolls, if you look at all of these discarded texts, there's a lot of that contradicts what's in the Bible. And very often the things that has been cut out of the Bible are the things that say you should think for yourself, you should worship your own religion, you should basically not just listen to religious authority, you should basically be open. All of these things are cut from the Bible, and I say, isn't it a bit strange to you that the texts that would reduce these people in these councils' political power are excluded, while the things that strengthen their political power are included? So yeah, and I think that's a very important part to address with these people. Basically, if they say we have the truth because this book says so, but I'm saying that it is a lot of questionable history with this book. But what part of the book were included, what parts were not included, translations and so on. I mean, for fuck's sake! Up in the north of Norway here, we have an edition of the Bible where they have exchanged lambs for seal cubs. Okay, because there was a lot of them in the Egyptian desert. So yeah, translations issue. Another thing that could be said is that all of the accounts in the Bible were written centuries later. I mean, all the accounts of Jesus were put down not by the apostles most of the time, it was written by their descendants. So that most of the works were written 200 years after Christ's death. And I mean, look at today. I mean, 200 years ago we had a lot more than we have the printing press. We had a lot more detailing about how people lived. How accurate are all accounts of what happened 10 years ago, do you think? 20 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago? So I mean, how do you know that these accounts are accurate when they were written down so long after? So I am saying, but don't you believe in God? Yes, I actually do. I believe in Jehovah. I believe that there is a Christian God, though for me, I believe he is part of the God. One more face of the God. One more God in a great pantheon. And I also believe that there was a man named Jesus, or most likely Joshua, if you're going to go by the normal naming conventions of that time. Most likely Joshua. And I do believe that this was a holy man who healed the sick and were way before his time and had a lot of wisdom to share. But I don't know if he was the son of a deity. I find it more likely that he was a human being with healing abilities, who were good and kind and helped people and were executed for it. And that yes, we should live by his example because he was a good man. But yeah, that's one of the things. And basically we have the truth because it's in this book. I like to counter it by basically questioning not their belief, but the book where they get the beliefs from. So yeah. Secondly, most of the time when people try to convert me, I mean, we do get Jehovah's Witnesses on the door here a few times, and generally I just say thank you, but no thank you. And I did meet a very nice Muslim woman once, and she told me that basically there's a lot of misconceptions about Islam, that it isn't a cruel, hateful religion that some people think, and would you like to know more about it? And I told her that thank you, and I do know that Islam is a great religion, and I think it is a very deep religion with a lot of wisdom in it, but I am pagan, so thank you, no. Or rather, I said, yeah, I would like to know more about it, but if it is to convert me, then thank you, no. And she wasn't pushy about it at all, and I mean, that's most people. And I think that for the most part, those that try to convert people, they're not pushy. But I am against those that try. I mean, like Shishuli has told this story, and he puts it up like a great effort. Basically, you have this woman who was a spiritualist, the mother was a spiritualist, and after a while the mother got sick, and on her deathbed her daughter was constantly telling you, you're gonna go to hell, you're gonna go to hell, you have to repent. And I made a video response and I said, this is despicable. She is frightening this poor sick woman. And I don't believe that a good God will send somebody who has lived a good life to hell just for not having the right belief. And that's another thing that I sometimes discuss with such people, the right belief. Like, for example, excuse me, I just need to move the camera a little bit. Sorry. Anyway, I observed two Muslims discussing here the other day. And they were having an argument about the right way to hold your hands while praying. And I mean, they were of that belief that but just slight variations to have the hands, they believe the hands were to be held. If you pray the wrong way, hold your hands the wrong way, you will go straight to hell. I mean, is God really that fickle? That if you hold your thumb in the wrong position while praying, then you go straight to hell? And I mean, like you said, Cara, that she said that the Catholics, that they're evil and they're Satanists and they're idolaters and so on. And I mean, I find it very funny when, and I often say this as well. Why, not only do you think that, not you but these Christians, and I usually tell them, not only do you think that you are the only one who has the truth, that Christianity is the only one that has the truth, that your sect of Christianity is the only one that has the truth. And I generally say, do you really think God is that fickle? That if you... I mean, there's not that great variation between the various Christian groups. That if you stand instead of sit in church, no? Hell, if you believe that the time of miracles are ended, or that the time of miracles is still going on, sorry, hell. Basically, if you have any slight variation in your belief compared to these other groups, then you go to hell. I don't believe the gods are that fickle. So, and I think that for the most part, these people are very fanatical. It doesn't matter what you're saying, it's better to just smile, be thankful that I cared about your well-being, and move on. But if they do start in chat, these are generally the points I bring up. One is about how do you know that you are right when there's such a questionable history to the Bible? And then how do you know that you are right and that everybody else, including other Christians, are wrong? How do you know that your interpretation of things are the only one that's correct? And other than that, I generally, if they are interested, I try to tell them what witchcraft is, what we believe. That, for example, no, we generally do not have big orgies, and that when there are sexual magic involved, generally it is between two people who are in a relationship. I tell them that no, we do not sacrifice animals. Or there are groups that do, for example, some also true people do sacrifice animals. Most pagans, I said, do not actually. In fact, there's a lot of pagans that are vegetarians and vegans. I tell them that no, we don't worship Satan, and so on, that a horned god is not Satan, and so on. So generally, if they're interested, I give them information about how it really is. I think that's the only way that you can talk with these people, is to basically just calmly give them the facts. And either they will accept it or they won't. I mean, arguing religion with them generally won't work. Just sitting down and calmly discussing what your beliefs are and how they might have an error in their knowledge about paganism, and just staying polite. And if that doesn't work, then just thank them for their concern, but say thank you but no thank you, and I wish you the best. So yeah, now just before I end the video here, I like to blabber, so I tend to go on for a while. I have had one experience that's similar to yours in a store, but that was with an atheist who thought I was a Christian. I'm a goth, and I had these, I still have it, I have to repair it. This very pretty alchemy gothic cross. It's pretty big, a red glass stone in the middle, and it's very ornate, and yeah, it looks very nice and gothic. I was wearing that around my neck, and I was into this second-hand store. And I walked past a woman, and suddenly she attacks me physically. She grabs a hold of my pendant, tears it off, tosses on the floor, and screams at me, "Christianity is over in Norway!" and starts just ranting about how horrible religion is. And it was so bizarre. And actually, come to think of it, I have experienced a lot more of negativity about my religion from atheists than from Christians. I mean, at least Christians come at it from a good point of view. They want to convert you because they feel that if they don't, you will go to hell, or that you will be much happier. As a Christian, they want to help you. While atheists they don't believe in something, so they think that believing in something is wasting your time, so they don't want anybody else to believe in it either. So I've experienced a lot more atheists who have said horribly hurtful things to me because of my religion. I've heard people that says I'm insane, that I should be locked up, that has called me all kinds of names because I'm religious. So yeah, And to be quite honest, discussing with atheists is a lot more hopeless than discussing with Christians. Most Christians are nice, kind individuals that might vary in their religious ideas, but who are still very nice and kind individuals. While I'm not saying that all atheists, of course not all atheists, many great atheists, but quite a few of these born-again atheists are jerks. And while I do try to always stay polite, I find that sometimes when I'm being called insane and delusional enough times, I feel the anger boil up in me and I reply perhaps not as polite as I would like to, but yeah, again, like I said, the best thing to do is always to stay calm, stay polite, stay respectful, because showing disrespect to somebody who has disrespected you doesn't really solve anything. Two wrongs doesn't make a right. It's very hard sometimes when you just feel stepped on. But anyway, before I make this video even longer, I think I should log off. So thank you, I really enjoyed your video. Have a great day, and blessed be.